Hey everyone, it's Jess and today I'm filming my 19 in 19 video. I know it is super late in the year, but you know, I did just start my booktube channel, so that is my main excuse for this. So yeah, just bear with me. Now, in saying that, these are the 19 books that I want to read in 2019, meaning these are the 19 books that I want to make sure I read before the year ends. So yeah, looking at this pile, I'm just wondering, can I do it? I'm gonna try because some of these are pretty hefty, so without further ado, let's just get into the video. The first one on this list is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. This is a very hyped fantasy series. I have wanted to read this for such a long time, and I will be doing it because I believe there's a reading along for it following up to the release of Dark Dawn. So I'm super excited, so this will definitely be read. This follows an assassin named Mia Corvier. It's brutal, it's bloody, and that is basically all I know for it. So yeah, I'm super excited to finally read it. I think I got like 30 pages in, and I really loved what I read so far. So yeah, can't wait to get to the rest of it. Now, the next book on this list is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is for sure the one book off this list that I will for sure read this year. I want to read this year. Yeah, again, like Nevernight, this is a very hyped book, and I know we are waiting on a release date for the third book, but I don't care. I will read all of them and wait forever for the third book if I have to. So yeah, as far as I know, this follows Gavoth, and he tells, or Voth, I think that's how you say his name, I don't know, but he just tells his life story. Apparently it's badass, it's amazing, it's epic, and I just need more epic adult fantasy in my life, so hopefully I really like this. And because this is the stunning 10th anniversary edition, yes it is, and yeah, it's just beautiful, so hopefully I will enjoy it. The next one on this list is one that has been in the works for pretty much a year now, and that is Crown of Wishes by Roshani Chokshi. My lighting doesn't show the cover very well. Crown of Wishes by Roshani Chokshi. I really loved The Star-Touched Queen. Like, unexpectedly fell in love with it, and I heard this is even better, so I'm hoping to really love this. Again, I started it and put it down. I think I got like about 22 pages in. Really liked what I read, so yeah. And I do want to read Star-Touched Stories for the Hades and Persephone story in it, but apparently I need to read this first, so yes, hopefully I can get to it. So the next book I want to read, I do not own it yet, but I will most likely probably get it via audiobook, no, not audiobook, ebook, and that is Grave Mercy by Robin Lefevre, I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. As far as I know, this book is about assassinats, I think, maybe? I don't know, they're assassins for death, that's all I know. But I've heard amazing things about it, and I do want to read it, so hopefully I can get to it this year. So the next book I want to get to is The Diviners by Libba Bray. This takes place in the 1920s, I believe. It's witchy, it's spooky. I heard it's perfect for October, so that's when I do plan to read this. And yeah, I'm not sure what it's about. I heard that you should probably go into it blind. I think that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, I heard it has a lot of ghosts in it, and I just want a good ghost story. So the next book I want to get to is Surprise, a contemporary, and that is Autobiography by Christina Lauren. I've had this for almost 2 years. It's kind of embarrassing that I have not read it yet, because this is one that I was really excited for when it came out. So yeah, and plus this cover is just so beautiful. It has such a gorgeous, I think, sunset. Pretty sure that's a sunset. But it says 3 years ago, Tanner Scott's family relocated from California to Utah, a move that nudged the bisexual teen temporarily back into the closet. Now, with one semester of high school to go and no obstacles between him and out-of-state college freedom, Tanner plans to coast through his remaining classes and clear to Utah. But when his best friend Autumn dares him to take Provo High's prestigious seminar, where honor roll students diligently toil to draft a book in a semester, Tanner can't resist defying his better judgment and having a go, if only to prove to Autumn how silly the entire thing is. Writing a book in 4 months seems simple. 4 months is an eternity. It turns out Tanner is only partly right. 4 months is a long time. After all, it takes only 1 second for him to notice Sebastian, brother, the Mormon prodigy who sold his own seminar novel the year before and now mentors the class. And it takes less than a month for Tanner to fall completely in love with him. So yeah, this sounds just like a really cute love story. So hopefully I can read it during the summer months, because that's typically when I would prefer to read contemporary. So yeah. So the next book that I would like to read is Grace and Fear by Tracy Banghart, another book that I started but just haven't completed. I put this down because I just wasn't feeling it at the time, but then I heard some really good things about it and would like to finish it and potentially move on to the second book. This follows 2 girls, Nomi and Serena, who live in a world where girls train to become graces, which are basically the prince's harem. Wonderful world they live in. Okay. Serena is training to become a grace because that's what she wants in life, and Nomi just doesn't want that, but she wants to be with her sister, so she just goes with her to be a handmaiden, and then things ensue from there, I'm assuming, because one of them ends up in prison and the other ends up being a grace, which is what she does not want. So yeah, I heard this is pretty feminist and just all around amazing, so I'm hoping I will like it. So the next book I want to read this year is Alchemist Alone by Elise Kova. Elise is one of my favorite authors, so it's completely beyond me why I have not read this book yet. This is pretty much a steampunk fantasy surrounding the black market and dragons, and that's really all I know. That's all I need to know to like this, and plus it's Elise Kova, who's an author of one of my all-time favorite fantasies, Air Awakens. Read it if you haven't read it. It's super amazing. So yeah, I'm really hoping I will love this just as much as I love Air Awakens. So the next book I really want to get to is A Caged Queen by Kristen Ciccarelli, another book that I won't blind you guys, another book that my lighting does not like. This is like a companion novel, I believe, to The Last Time Sarah. It follows a different character but in the same world, but I do think it follows the events that happened in The Last Time Sarah, so I'm not gonna really give a synopsis because spoilers, but just know there's dragons. So yeah, that's all you need to know. But it's really good. The writing is incredible. The audiobook is really good. The narrator does such a fantastic job, so I suggest the audiobook, and I'm probably going to go that route with this book as well. The next book that I want to read, another one that I do not own yet, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon, I believe. And from what I can gather from people's synopsis is that this is set in an alternative London. It is a dystopian future, I think, but it just sounds really intriguing. I was never really into picking it up, but I just see more and more people reading it, and I want to know what it's about. So yeah, hopefully I can get to it this year. I hope. So another book I want to get to is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This is a sci-fi and a Brandon Sanderson book. I have never read a Brandon Sanderson book, but he's a pretty hyped and beloved author, so this would be my introduction to him, I guess. This follows a girl named Spencer whose world has been under attack for decades. Flight school might be a long shot, but she's determined to fly. So this just sounds super interesting, and I cannot wait to get to it. I've been super into sci-fi lately, like space sci-fi, so I'm hoping I really like it. So the next book I do want to read is My Plain Jane by Cynthia Han, Brody Ashton, and Joni Meadows. And I'm guessing this is a retelling of Jane Eyre. I've never read Jane Eyre, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to read that to read this. Regardless, I'm not going to. I just want to read this because I heard it's kind of ghosty, so maybe I'll like it. I hope I do. I really want to get to it and see if it's funny or not, because I heard it's funny and I just kind of want a funny book to read. So hopefully I can get to this summer, I'm hoping. So the next book I want to get to is Nyxia Unleashed by Scott Rington. This is the sequel to Nyxia. I really love Nyxia, and I also got an ARC for this. I haven't read it. I feel really bad, but you know, just things happen. But I will read this. I will finish this trilogy this year, hopefully, because it's completely finished now, I believe. And look, Jay Kristoff blurbed this. Jay Kristoff blurbed this book. it must be, that's when you know it's good. A Jay Kristoff blurbs it. But yes, it is good regardless of the blurb. This takes place in space. A group of kids are like kind of competing to get a spot on board to go to this planet and do things. I have no idea how to explain the book to you, but it's really good. It was really intriguing. It left on kind of a cliffhanger, so I'm interested to see where this is gonna leave off. So yeah, hopefully I can get to this soon because I want to know what happens next. So the next book I want to get to is All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. I read and absolutely adored Even the Darkest Stars last year. It's one of my favorite books of all time now. I really super love super loved River. He is just, he's my baby. Even though things happen, he's still my baby. It's okay. But I want to know what's going to happen in this and what will happen with Kamzin and River. I keep wanting to say Phoenix. Regardless, I'm just really excited to read this. No synopsis for this, but basically the first book was just mountain climbing, demons, a lot of stuff happening. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen next. So the next book I want to read, The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This book is huge and the cover is absolutely beautiful. Just let me read you the synopsis because I have no idea how to explain the book. But as destiny calls, a journey begins. It has been 20 years since the godlike augurs were overthrown and killed. Those who once served them, the gifted, were spared only after accepting the rebellion's 4 tenets, which vastly limited their powers. Davian suffers the consequences of a war lost before he was even born. When he discovers that he wields the forbidden power of the augurs, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. To the west, a young man whose fate is intertwined with Davian's wakes up in a forest covered in blood with no memory of who he is. And in the far north, an ancient enemy begins to stir. So first off, why I want to read this book is because I will read any book that has the tagline "An ancient enemy begins to stir." It's an adult fantasy, so I'm really excited. So the next book I want to read is The Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruccio. This is another epic sci-fi fantasy, I believe. I am expecting some fun times in this book, some epicness, possibly heartbreak, maybe some hate to love. I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know. But I just know I'm gonna like it. So yeah. So the next book I want to read is The Demon King, another book I do not own. I actually did own this, but I didn't hold it because I thought I wasn't interested. But since then I've heard really good things about the series and the follow-up for the series, The Shadow Realms, and now I just really want to read it. So another one I really want to get to. And then I also want to get to Honorbound, which is another book I do not own, which is another sci-fi. Don't really know what it's about because honestly I don't really want to look up the synopsis because my phone is dead. So yeah, but I do want to read it. Apparently it's really good. And then the last book I want to get to is Girl in the Tower by Kevin Arden. This is the sequel to Bear and the Nightingale. I read this about a year ago, I believe. Almost a year ago. Really liked it. It was really slow to get into, but it was also quite, I don't know how to explain it, but it was just quite magical and just ethereal and just, it was really good, to be honest. And I'm hoping this will be just the same. It follows a girl named Vasilisa, I think that's how you say her name, and Roscoe, and it's Russian folktale is all I can explain it to you, but it's really good. I highly suggest it if you want to read Russian fantasy or folktale because it's good. So yes, those are my 19 in 2019. I am actually super pumped for this entire TBR stack because there's some really good books here, and I hope I can get to all of these. I know it's pretty ambitious, especially doing this late in the year, but since I seem to apparently read around 10 books a month, apparently, I think I can do it. Even though I think only like 2 of these are on the next TBR for next month. At least one of them are, which I don't know, we'll see. There are 6 more months left in the year, not counting this month. So I do have high hopes. Let me know what books you want to read before the year ends, and if there's any books in this stack you would like to read before the year ends, or if you have read them and what you think of them, and I will talk to you in the next video.